per Melodylane, per la nostra webzine, e oggi siamo qui con i Counterfeit che stasera suoneranno all'Orion Live Club in Ciampino. Good evening, guys.
Good evening, how are you?
Nice to meet you. First of all, we would like to ask you how this tour is going so far, and the reaction of the audiences to the new songs now that your first album, full length, is out.
It's been amazing thus far. I mean, we started in Germany, in Hamburg, which, was an insane show, and the shows have just gotten bigger and kind of crazier as they've gone along. Like, we upped the production value kind of for these shows coming up. It's like, we really wanted the shows to be like a massive show for people to come and see, like exciting and interesting. So, we've just been kind of pushing ourselves more and more and more, and more people seem to be coming, which is amazing. Like, it's kind of crazy, and there's this massive shared experience, and the reaction has just been, like, it's been amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's so nice to be out on the road at the moment, having just released the album, because it's the first time that, every show, everyone's singing all the words back to us.
Yeah, it's completely amazing. Like, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's different.
But the song you are performing in this tour, you have already tested them live, and then they have been inserted in the album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're writing, I guess, we're kind of writing the first record as we were going along, as like when we were starting the band, I suppose, is what you'd say. Like, we just wrote and we got itchy and we were like, let's go and play some shows, because ultimately that's what a band is, right? You go and play some shows, and from there we kind of like finessed and really like sort of just the songs developed slightly more, and then you get into a studio environment, and of course there's things that you're doing like live that when you get into a studio environment you can hear a lot more clearly, so things have to be like tightened up, you really have to think about the new lines and stuff, and we wrote a lot of new parts to the songs, in the studio. There was definitely
a lot of tweaking.
A lot of tweaking that really sort of helped hone and develop those songs into what they are.
So you decided also to change something on the songs?
Yeah, massively.
After you see them live?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it wasn't after seeing them live, I think. It was more after, having played them live, and then you go into a studio environment. And when you're all playing live, it's very, it's like we like to play fucking loud, that's how we like to play, and that's just how it is, and we kind of all trust each other to do our thing, But when you get into a studio environment, some bits, we have opinions on which we haven't heard before, that makes sense, right? Yeah.
And, now that you have out, I think, a couple of EP, right?
Yeah, 2
EP
EPs
and a
before.
full length, right?
Yeah.
And on the Specialized Press, we read punk rock, alternative rock. How you define your music? Of course, rock. But have you got some? You are moving towards punk, towards grunge, towards alternative. What's your kind preferred?
We don't. We don't have a preferred genre. I mean, like, I'm happy. It's amazing when people describe the band, and give it a certain, mantle when it's called punk or when it's called rock. Like, I'm happy to be punk. I'm happy to be rock. Like, it's great. I think that all the things that we're described as, all the things that people have singularly put us in as a genre, have shaped this into what it is. By that, I'm very aware of, and I think we're all aware of that. But I don't think that really we ever set out to try and put ourselves in a box. Like, our musical influences are totally varied, and we're not elitist in our taste either. It's one of those things whereby we take influence from from rock and punk rock, but we also take influence from indie. We also take influence from classical. We also take influence from more metal, and I don't think there's any bad thing in that, And I'm happy that it's like that sometimes. I'm happy that people struggle to define it.
Some of your main influences as musician or songwriters?
I mean, for me, as a songwriter, I guess, I grew up listening to my dad's rock music, you know. I grew up listening to Van Morrison, I grew up listening to you know, who else? I mean, like, a bit of Michael Jackson in there as well, and also like varied on Fugees and stuff. But then, I guess when I first started like wanting to write and trying to write, as a songwriter, I was always drawn to the slightly bigger scale of songwriting, the slightly more dramatic side of songwriting. I always enjoyed the sort of, if we're going to go back, you know, you can look at bands like Sabbath or Queen, you know, where those songs are like massive and they're heavy as fuck, but like then they've got like a real cool story. Yeah, it's through line, like musical through line is kind of amazing, you know. You start here and you build and you feel and you feel and you feel and you end just like it's fucking elation. Like I love that shit. And then so those are my more like, I suppose, like, you know, classical influences in terms of his in terms of sort of past. And then more present, I guess I'm massively into bands like Biffy Clyro, were a huge band for me growing up. You know, that band when we were like 15, I guess, there was a band at school that went and played with Biffy, like down in Brighton, and that was Tellison, and like I sort of, yeah, I think so. I think that was right. Or they knew, or they were in that circle. Yeah. So it was that whole like 100 Reasons kind of circle, yeah. Right? And Biffy had either the first or second record out, and you know, Simon Neil, I don't know, was a huge influence on me. And then I suppose also more modern bands like Gallows, I really connected. I remember seeing Gallows for the first time at a festival and just being like fucking blown away by the energy. You know, just completely like massively blown away. But I also love pop music, and I think we all do. But then, you know, everyone else's influences are totally different. Like Tristan's influences are massively different.
Deeper into sort of metal side of things, but I also love like Taylor Swift sometimes, the new album. Like, yeah, our influences aren't sort of rooted in one area. They really are quite wide for the spectrum. Yeah.
And you did this for the live performance,
or
you need it also in the studio to make a better arrangement of the songs, or for your ideas you need more?
Well, we started this, you know, as like when Tristan, myself, and Roland used to play in another band together, right? So we kind of we put that to bed, and our drummer at the time, you know, wanted to focus on other things, and it was kind of like it was the right time to sort of end that. And but we still had all this like fucking energy, and it was like we didn't feel that we were representing ourselves in the correct way, musically, and all this kind of shit. And so Counterfeit was born, and Counterfeit was born in an environment whereby like I was very much writing on my own. You know, I was writing these songs, and I write all the time. It's just something that I do. But all of a sudden there was this like continuous stream of I suppose like consciousness and awareness and of sound. Actually, there was just like I started writing, and there was more that sounded like that, and it was more and I was like, oh shit! I'm super happy. I'm feeling like this is it. I've got this now. I'm in this vibe. This is great. And so we started working on it, and then we took it into the studio to sort of, you want to see how it fleshes out live, but a band has to be a family, right? Like a band, you don't want to just like jump into bed with someone for the sake of jumping into bed with someone. You're married to these fucking people, you know, like you're gonna be spending a shitload of time with these guys, so you don't want it to. You don't want to sort of like stick an advert out there and get someone in, you know. We were like, let's take our time on this. We know we're working, and I was like, I'd love to ask Sam. He's got some exams and stuff going on, but you know, he lives in Denmark. But fuck it. And then Jimmy's brother, I've known for a long time, George, and George said, you know, you should ask Jimmy. And I'm like, do you think Jimmy would want to do it? Like, you know, because I've seen Jimmy play in like other bands before, man, and like. Jimmy's one of those, like, for me, like, one of those drummers when I was a kid, like, growing up, you know, like...
And all of you played on the album? Or
yeah, we all played on the album.
Everyone's playing on them. Okay. And talking about the family, as musicians, as a family, you are on tour. We saw not so much day off. You play near every day.
No, five days on, one day off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not always.
would you like more this situation, like small venues, like clubs, like tonight, or the big summer festival? We saw that you're going to play also with Limp Bizkit next festival. Would you like more this situation, or?
It's hard to say. I love playing in like small venues and clubs and things like that. I love that just for like the intimacy and everything about it is just like, it's great. I find festivals. I actually haven't played that many festivals personally, but from what I've heard, the distance is a bit more, and it's a bit more of you kind of have to go. It's a different show. You kind of zone out into your head a little bit. I find, and just have a good show that way, as opposed to like kind of feeding off everyone else, which is much easier, I think, when it's right up.
Watching also your videos, you got contact with the fans. You are maybe into the audience. So
Yeah, I mean, I think either's amazing, really. Like, you know, a small, like, for instance, on this run of shows, we went up into Oslo and we played like the tiniest fucking venue in Oslo. Like, we'd never been to Scandinavia before, right? So it's like, for us, it's like, well, what the hell is this going to be like? You know, we go up to Oslo, it's this like small venue, it's way smaller than here, and it just fucking went off. Like, it was like probably one of my favorite shows that we've ever played. You know, so, but equally, I think we're as happy on a bigger stage in front of more people. There's more opportunity for like, when there's a smaller crowd and it's a smaller space, there's more opportunity for like close interpersonal mayhem, like looking into each other's eyes and going fucking nuts together. But when you're playing a festival, there's more opportunity for you to like, and for the crowd to just lose their shit. And it's not as personal, but god damn, it's fun. Like, it is fun. So, they're both great.
Maybe the summer festival, this festival, a young band emerging, is good to get new fans. To catch the attention is the most important things.
Well, I think the show is the most important thing, but at the same time, equally, if people like walk past and they're into it, then that's great, really. Like, you know, we're always going to go out there and play the same show, doing a headline tour, as we are going to go out and play a festival slot that really where nobody might have heard of us before. You know, it's just, we're still going to do our thing, and yeah, it's great if people like walk past and are into it, but I think we're all just stoked to play the show, really, if I'm honest.
And what about the Italian fans? Is 4 days here in Italy?
4 days.
This is the second, right? Tonight, the second?
Yeah.
What about the Italian fans, the connection with the Italian fans?
It's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah.
It's nuts. Like, it's, you know, Italy to me has always felt very welcoming as a country. It's always been a very welcoming country, and I've worked with a lot of people from here, and I have a lot of friends from here as well. And so it's, you know, it's an important place to me personally, and I think that as well, you know, playing here, this was one of the first countries that we came to, and we really were like widely accepted as a band, you know, like a legitimate band, and they care. They're so passionate here. That's the thing, is the Italian fans are they're so passionate. It's like they tweet us and they're like, did we do well tonight? It's like, yeah, you did really fucking good. Like, good job. Go home, give yourself a pat on the back, and like, you know, put some arnica on those bruises and come back tomorrow. You know, like, that's
We are famous because we are always singing.
You're always singing.
Always singing.
Dude, we put the
go to
Italian
concert
national,
for singing, not for listening to music.
we put the Italian national anthem on when we came here.
Oh yeah.
Just for fun, like, because we always have like a walk on track, and we were like, let's put the Italian national anthem on. They might really like it. And I've never heard like people sing louder.
It was so loud.
Deafening. It was amazing.
Through the walls as well.
It was amazing. We got it on video as well. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. They're really, really, really up for it. So it's always a good time.
Yeah.
They are out. Lots of fans.
I know, they're already here.
They are already here. And could you tell us three bands from the actual scene that you would like to tour with?
From our scene, from the rock scene.
A good package to tour around the world. 3 bands.
Biffy's got to be in there.
Yeah, Biffy Clyro.
Biffy Clyro.
Yeah.
They played here in Rome a month ago.
Yeah, I know, I saw.
Atlantico Live Club.
It looked amazing. They're an amazing band. They're an incredible rock band. Like, incredible songwriting.
Who else would we put in there?
I mean, if you're what you want it as a build, so you want like Counterfeit supporting.
A good package to tour with bands you'd like.
Okay, so bands we'd love to tour with. I mean, I think Foos would be amazing.
Well, yeah.
Foos would be fucking great.
Yeah.
Biffy would be incredible. Who else would you say?
I think someone like Green Day would be fucking
Green Day would be great.
I saw you were going to play in a festival in Switzerland with Green Day, right?
Yeah.
That's a good festival. Have you ever been there? Played
No.
No,
Greenfield.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's good fun.
Actually, all the festivals are doing
Wonderful
our first.
I kind of love to tour with the Prodigy. Like, I kind of think that would be great. I kind of think that would be a kind of interesting mix. And then there's new bands as well. I mean, like, there's bands like Horror, who are a band from Brooklyn who just kind of tear shit up, and they're fucking amazing. And they're like, when we played our first gig, I put their track on as our walk-on track, and it's like the heaviest fucking craziest thing you've ever heard. It's industrial as fuck. I love it. Marilyn Manson, love to tour with Marilyn Manson, like hugely influential. Tom Waits, Bob Dylan. I mean, like, you know, the list is endless. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Grinder Man.
so Biffy Clyro and Marilyn Manson Counterfeit. Good package.
Yeah, Biffy and Counterfeit. I'd be cool for that.
Could you list us 3 songs from your discography, EP and singles, and that could define the sound of your band at the best at the moment? 3 songs that we can tell to our followers. Say, if you like this band, listen to this song and you can get their sound at the best.
3 songs that best describe us sonically at the moment. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, you can't rely, is it?
From the record.
I mean, it can from our discography, from like the first 2 EPs, and then I mean, Washed Out. I think you can't rely is kind of like you can't rely stanky, but like you can't rely is kind of a bit like older. I mean, I think overall the sound sonically is maybe a bit younger than that, a bit more like naive, a bit more thrashy. I don't know.
Family Suicide.
Yeah, Family could be on there, and Family Suicide, and
As Yet Untitled.
As Yet Untitled and Washed Out, I guess. But You Can't Rely is an interesting track, I agree. Like, it's different, it's interesting, because I think that the songs on the record are always, there is definitely a through line, and there's a sonic through line, but as well there's a progression in writing and a progression in maturity, I think, as the record goes on. So it's hard, because I'd love to be able to sit there and be like, you know, easy, bam, 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 done. But like, I can't. I mean, it's hard. Like, I think, yeah, maybe Washed Out, Family, and You Can't Rely. There you go.
And this is the next question. The creative process of your music. How you write? There is a main composer, or you jam in the studio and the songs came out staying together? What's your...
It's kind of a mixture of the two, interestingly enough. I mean, I do a lot of like writing in isolation. I do a lot of writing in isolation, but then there are also songs that we've worked on together, you know, as well.
So
it kind of just depends on when inspiration strikes and if people are around. You know, you can't. It's tough to get into a room, I think, all the time and go, right, we're gonna write today, and that's what we're gonna do. Because I don't think that inspiration works like that. I think inspiration works when you're like at home, or you're walking home, or you're like out and about, and you go, fuck, I've got to get something down, I've got to get something now, and I'm gonna forget this, you know. And I'll like lock myself away. But then there's other days where like I've called Tristan in the morning, waking up and being like, I've got something, but I need your fucking help. Like, help me now. Like, help out. I don't know what to do. And Roland's been there, and like we worked on it together. And then there's been other times where we've all been in the same space, and we've all been like, kind of like just pissing around and working on something, and then someone hits something, and you're like, that's great, like let's fucking like continue to use that, let's go. And then you build, and then 2 hours later, you've got a song.
So it's a mix.
It's a total mix, yeah, it really is a total mix. Yeah.
And preferred instruments you prefer on the piano, on the guitar? What's your...
We write. I mean, I write when I write in isolation, and when most of us write, I think when we've written together, unless the track's been written acoustically, which of one, I think that of all the tracks, I think there's only one. But generally, what I'll do is I'm fortunate enough to have a computer that replicates the sound that my amp makes, so I'll just plug my guitar in and put my headphones on and just thrash. Because I live in central London, so I can't fucking plug my amp in and turn it up to 10. Like, I tried, trust me, I tried, and like Roland came over and we tried, and we got like shut down within like instantly. I was like, fuck, like I want to be punk as fuck, but it's like
Tough in central.
It's tough in central London, yeah, exactly. So computer but natural, with the guitar.
Okay. And have you already had new material? Your album is just now out, but did you have composed material for next release?
There's ideas.
Yeah, little
Pieces are being cut out.
Yeah.
Some
I feel at
demos,
the moment pieces and they need to.
but they're only bits. They're not full songs.
not full song.
But-
You are working on it.
Yeah,
And
they're-
while on tour, you write? You keep on writing, or
Not
in this
purposefully.
moment you are off on?
Yeah, not on purpose.
Not purposefully. There's no point where we go, okay, let's write. But like, for instance, today we were sound checking, and Tristan came up with something. Sorry, I got cold. Tristan came up with something, and it sounded amazing. So it sounded great. It sounded wicked, and I'm like, okay, great, just keep playing that, and I'm singing it along. I'm like, okay, no, try this, and then recorded it on my phone, and who knows? Maybe in 3 months' time we'll go back to it, but. Yeah, we're in that exciting development stage again of like figuring out where we're going, and I think that's really interesting. It's a really like exciting phase for any band, is where it's like, cool, like where can we take this now? It's fun.
Okay, guys, for us is everything. I think our time is over.
Great.
We thank you for
Thank you very much.
everything.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.